Om Shri Sai Ram. Welcome to everyone to the 9th episode of the Sathya Sai story. Dear brothers and sisters, we are now in the January and February of 1948 and the beautiful leelas and mahimas of our beloved Bhagwan Sri Sathya Sai Baba, our dear Swami, continue. Swami would take groups of devotees to the sandbanks of the Chitravathi river, and we know of the many miracles that would happen as the group would sit on the sand. But this was not like some standard procedure where all go and sit. Anything could happen. Swami would run around and play catch with the devotees some days. On the other days, the devotees would tie a swing to one of the large branches of the large trees there, and they would push Swami on the swing. And Swami would tell them, this is all you can push. Move away from me, I will do it myself. And Swami would stand on that swing and start swinging himself, and he would go higher and higher, sometimes reaching into the higher branches, and the devotees would get scared. They would say, Swami, please stop, come. And then Swami would jump from the swing and land with glee on his face, though the devotees would get fright in their heart, wondering what will happen to Swami falling from such a height. But that is how Swami was so playful. In fact, he would take the men folk and go for swimming in the Chitravathi river as well. And there too, so many pranks. He would go underwater and not surface at all. Now every devotee is getting worried. Oh, what happened? Did Swami drown? Did Swami get lost? And when the peak of their fear or worry is there, Swami would surface and smile at them. He would go underneath and tickle the others. He would catch the legs and pull the legs. He would scare. He would fill their heart with delight. This went on and on. And just when the devotees were about to forget who Swami is, his reality, he would part the clouds of Maya, the veil of Maya, and reveal himself. And the devotees would understand that just because Swami is eating with them, talking with them, sleeping with them, playing with them like one among them, he is the descent of the Lord for the ascent of the man. That they should not forget. That would be reminded to them. In fact, to some of the Kuppam devotees, Swami so lovingly composed and taught songs which they could sing, which would become vehicles to carry their devotion to him. Now, while these leelas we can talk about and go on and on, what we have to remember is all of them are just a sampling of a sampling. 24 hours in a day would be filled with leelas with the avatar, and there is no way we can capture all of that. We are just reliving a few samples and trying to extrapolate it to understand what it must have been. But as Swami says, in order to understand and experience the ocean, you need not drink the whole ocean. Every drop in the ocean carries the quality of the ocean. In the same way, every leela of Swami, every mahima of Swami, as we listen and enjoy, we get the same joy like having experienced the whole ocean of Swami himself. So, with that attitude, let us proceed, because we can never comprehensively tell the story of the avatar. It will never be complete. Even if Goddess Saraswati were to make all the oceans as ink and write till the end of time for all eternity, even then his mahimas and leelas cannot be aptly captured. In the last episode, episode 8, which is at this link above, in fact, at this link above, I shall put the playlist for all the episodes so far, so that those of you who have missed this serial can watch from episode 1 and get the continuity. But we in the last episode discussed about the passing away of Mahatma Gandhiji. A few days before 30th January, Swami wrote a letter to Sri Lokanatha Mudaliyar, who was based in Madras. In that letter, Swami told him to get his daughter Leela, who was suffering from an eye ailment, to him so that he would help and cure her. Now, at this point in time, definitely Miss Leela, who was in Chennai with her father, in Madras with her father, was not having any ailment. she was very happy. She would have that beautiful picture of Lord Vishnu that Swami had materialized for her and written a message behind it for her. So she was lost in her worship and devotion. But Swami had written this letter. Now on the 30th of January, when Mahatma Gandhiji was assassinated, Miss Leela was very devastated. She cried and cried and cried so profusely. As she kept crying, she found that the tears coming from her eyes would just not stop at all. They kept flowing and flowing. The eyes became red, they became swollen, and now, apart from tears, other liquids also began to ooze out. It was a severe infection. Her sight began to get affected, and that is when this letter reached them, sometime in the first week of February. And in that, Swami had said that she is suffering from this eye disease. Wow! And not just that, he had written, get her to meet me at Kuppam. Why Kuppam? Swami announced that February 22nd, 1948 is a very auspicious date, and on that day he would perform the wedding of Kumaramma. He would address Srimati Vijayamma Garu as Kumaramma, and he found a bridegroom for her as well. It was a certain Hemchand Shetty from the city of Madras. And Swami said, not only will he perform the wedding, he will perform at the wedding as well. Yes, Swami promised that he would be the kacheri singer for her wedding. You see, dear brothers and sisters, in every wedding we have a concert, we have some singers who are singing in joy to celebrate that occasion. Here, Swami is promising that he will be in Kuppam to sing. Now we understand why Swami had written in that letter to Miss Leela Mudaliar to come to Kuppam, because Swami said on 22nd February I will be there, because I am performing the wedding of Vijayamma, Kumaramma. Which means even before, in the last week of January itself, Swami had already decided upon performing the wedding. And you see, everything is a master plan. It all falls in place so beautifully. Even before she had got the eye infection, Swami said, you will be getting eye infection. Swami had told her to come. You know, when I read such episodes, it makes me realize that I unnecessarily get worried, tensed, and fearful about my future, what's going to happen to me, how is it. Everything he is taking care of. We have to just remember this and have faith and know that everything that happens to us is by the grace and love of our Swami. There is nothing to worry. Now, speaking of Swami writing letters, there is another letter Swami wrote. This time it was to Karnam Lakshmi Narayan Rao of Bukkapatnam. Swami took interest in setting up a public park at Bukkapatnam, and on 16th of February 1948, Swami laid the foundation stone for this park, which was financed by Srimati Sakamma. This letter is about that. I hope you know about Srimati Sakamma and her great contributions at being a third mother to our Swami. If you are unaware of it, please have a look at this link above. Going back to this letter that Swami has written, if you observed, is on a letterhead which carries the name of Sakamma as the Lokaseva Parayani. Swami wrote this letter from Bangalore, which means in the beginning of February, Swami was at Bangalore. And in that letter, Swami writes that it is not possible to get all the equipment and necessary things for the park from Bangalore because the truck is too large and the items are too few. So he is writing to the Karnam there, the Karnam of Bukkapatnam, to procure it locally. He also writes, I could have made some arrangement for them here also, but I have to leave for Visakhapatnam by 7 o'clock flight on the 11th. And from there, I go to Bobili, so I could not attend to this work. You arrange for the doors and windows. We handed over our building works to contractors from Machildin State Engineering. They will take care of everything. Sending money is my responsibility. Convey my blessings to your family and children and to the families next to your house as well. So you see, Swami was on a flight to Visakhapatnam on the 11th of February and then he went to Bobili. These are the drops of the ocean which we don't have evidence of, we don't even know, we don't have any photos. Bobili was a kingdom and quite far, and it's amazing. Just imagine Swami's boarding pass in 1948. These are the thoughts that go on in my head. Anyway, this park for which Swami laid the foundation was inaugurated an year later on the 5th of May 1949 by Shri Neelam Sanjeeva Reddy, who was then the education minister for Madras. Later he went on to become even the president of India. And so, on the 21st of February 1948, Shri Amarendra and Shri Krishna Kumar, the two sons of Shri Radhakrishna Shetty of Kuppam, which means they are the brothers of Vijayamma Garu, they came and escorted Swami from Puttaparthi to Kuppam. Now from Puttaparthi to Kuppam must be a few hours journey, but that day it took them so long. It took them so long and they reached Kuppam only at 11 in the night. The next day is the wedding. February 22nd is the wedding. For that, lot of arrangements had been done. The Zamindar of Kuppam had very graciously allotted his bungalow. He was not in town. Why he was not in town? In fact, many people in Kuppam were not in town because this was the time when a dreaded epidemic, two dreaded epidemics of cholera as well as plague had struck the region, and therefore everybody had run away. That was the usual response of the people. In fact, such responses also led to the spread of the infection. That's another story altogether. But the fact is, at that point in time in Kuppam, it was all deserted. The Zamindar had left and he had graciously given his bungalow. It was a two-story bungalow, a large, airy, well-ventilated home with multiple rooms. And therefore, the ground floor was taken up by the bride's party. The second floor, the topmost floor, was given to the groom's party, and the middle, the first floor, was kept for Swami and his entourage. Everything had been prepared and everything was ready, and Swami is not coming only. He came at 11 p.m. But even at 11 p.m, the whole group was there to welcome him with great joy. They were so happy, and it was a reinforcement that once Swami gives a word, he never breaks it. And that is something all of us must remember all our lives. We may not understand how Swami functions. We may not understand why he functions in the way he functions. But we should know for sure that his word is Vedavakya. Any word he gives always is true, though we may not understand. The next day, the wedding day, it was such a gala, wonderful event, suffused with divinity because Swami was there. A mandap had been set up, and early in the morning itself the prayers began. The priest had come and it was all conducted. At the Muhurtam is the most important time, that is the most auspicious time. It was around 12:30 at noon. That is when Swami made his entrance, and Swami sat beside the bride and the groom. Swami conducted all the ceremonies there, and once the Kanyadana was done, which is the father giving away his daughter as charity to the groom, Swami blessed the Mangala Sutra. The Mangala Sutra is an ornament that the woman wears, symbolizing her union with the husband. It is as sacred as God. It is considered as the life of the husband, and this Mangal Sutra is usually gifted to the girl by the parents of the girl, and that is what was tied around her neck. Swami blessed it. After that, Swami materialized a second Mangal Sutra and gave it to the groom to tie it to Vijayamma Garu's neck, and it was joy unbounded for Vijayamma Garu, as she records in her book Anyata Sharanam Nasti. The couple took Pad Namaskar, they exchanged garlands, they also together put garlands onto Swami. And then Swami gave advice to Vijayamma Garu as to how she should behave as an ideal wife who pleases Swami. You know, the instructions that Swami gave are so detailed, I felt I should make a separate video about that in itself. But the first one which she records there is, she writes that Swami told her that a husband and wife should look at no other person with lustful eyes other than their own husband and wife. Swami gave this instruction personally to Vijayamma Garu, told her, this is most important if you want to make me happy, otherwise Swami will never be happy. Then came the most awaited evening. The whole hall was decorated with flowers and the stage was set for Swami to occupy, because he is the person who is going to do the kacheri, the singing. But Swami came and said, how can I sit on top there? You are the bride and groom. You are the most important people. You should sit there. And much to their embarrassment, Swami refused and made them sit on the dais while Swami seated himself on the floor. And of course, there were beautiful spreads made on the floor on which he sat. And he started off with a prayer, Maha Ganapatim, an offering to Ganesha. Swami started off. After that, he followed up with multiple songs. Swami sang many Tyagaraja Kritis. Shri Rama Ramani Manohara, Rarama Intidaka, Ramanannu Brovara, Prakkalo Nilabadi, Brochevar Evurura. And then Swami sang the bhajan, Rama Kodanda Rama Rama Pattabhi Rama Rama Kalyana Rama Raghava. Not just that, Swami also sang. This went on, and Swami concluded with Nagumo Mu. Swami sang this, and when he sang this, Jagamele Paramatma, there's one line that comes there. It is documented that there was not a single dry eye in the whole hall. Everybody was shedding tears of joy, of love, of gratitude, of devotion. And as all of this concluded, the next day Swami would be leaving, and that is when Miss Leela arrived there. Yes, you remember the letter Swami had written? Miss Leela Mudaliar and her mother arrived there, and they went straight to Swami, and even as she fell at the feet of Swami, she felt the pain in her eyes disappear. The swelling was still there, the oozing of liquid was still there, but the pain was gone, and she folded her hand and expressed her gratitude to Swami. Swami waved his hand and materialized vibhuti for her and applied it on the eye, and then gave the additional vibhuti and told her to continue the treatment for one more day. Not just that, Swami took some jasmine flowers that were there and plucked out their stalk, took only the petals, put it in a piece of cloth and tied that piece of cloth around her eyes. Swami then advised the parents, Sri Lokanatha Mudaliyar and Dhanammal, her mother, Srimati Dhanammal. Swami said, you leave for Madras immediately. I am also leaving for Puttaparthi. Let this bandage be tied around her eye till you reach Madras. And as soon as you reach Madras, remove the bandage and she can go for her college immediately. And that is exactly what happened. They reached Madras, they opened the bandage, and she was all fine and she could go to her college that very day. And before Swami can return to Puttaparthi, that night was when there was some breathing time and breathing space, when the members of the Kuppam family asked the two sons, why had you taken so much time to bring Swami here? We had thought of spending some time with him, and what were you doing the whole day? Why did you reach so late at the night? That is when the brothers revealed what had happened. As they were driving and coming towards Kuppam, on the way they spotted a few peacocks, and Swami told them to stop the car. And when they got down and went, it was not just a few peacocks. There were so many peacocks, and Swami began to chase these peacocks. And then there were deer, which they didn't expect to find. Swami began to chase the deer, and they lost track of Swami. Swami was lost. They were wondering where Swami went now, what to do. They are in the middle of apparently nowhere, and Swami has gone behind deer and peacocks and he's vanished. After a while, Swami again came. Oh, look at this playful Swami. And they decided to have some refreshments. And as they were eating the refreshments, another interesting thing happened. Sri Amarendra records that when he put some food into his mouth, it was so spicy, so pungent, so strong that his tongue began to burn. He was looking for some sweet with which he could beat the spice, but there was no sweet. And Swami told him, you pick that water container and drink water. He said, so Swami, that won't help. Swami said, no, you drink. He drank, and that time when he drank, it was not water. It was ambrosia. It was so sweet. It had the flavor of tender coconut, and yet it had one ethereal sweetness which wiped out the spice from his tongue and filled immense joy in his heart. He wondered what it was, and his wonder was even magnified because Swami had not even touched the container. He felt, he had seen Swami touch things and transform them. Here Swami had not even touched that water container and it had all happened. Dear brothers and sisters, all the limitations that we impose onto Swami is actually a manifestation of our own limitations. Swami can do everything without touching, without seeing, without even being present there. That is how Vibhuti manifests in our homes. That is how hearts that have been attacked because of clots become alright on their own. That is how cancers that are there get cancelled by just drinking tirtham. Swami uses his touch, Swami uses Vibhuti, Swami uses all these objects because we need to hold on to some object of faith. Swami needs nothing. I am reminded of how the Roman general told Lord Jesus, Lord, you just say that my servant will be cured and he is far away, he'll be cured. I need not get him to you. That was the kind of faith he had, and that is the kind of faith we too must have in Swami. So after he drank that, his spice was gone, the thirst was quenched, but after that there was no more water left. Swami just tapped the container now and it was filled with water, but this was normal water. Can we say it is normal water? Swami has touched it and it has come. How can we call it normal water? Anything associated with the Lord is not normal, and that is an important takeaway from this episode. Our lives, dear brothers and sisters, are not normal because they have been touched by the Lord. And when I say touch, I don't mean a physical touch. Our hearts have been touched by His love, and therefore our hearts and our lives are no ordinary lives. These are lives touched by the Lord, for which we have to be eternally grateful. Dear brothers and sisters, as I continue this serial and proceed ahead, I would request you to share this and get more people to subscribe so that they can get the amrita and joy of the Lord's stories. In that way, you too will be getting your share of punyam by sharing good things. Swami has said on one occasion, you should be like the ant. Have you seen the ant when it finds a piece of sugar? It does not sit there and eat it itself. It will go and tell all the other ants, there is sugar, there is sweetness, there is sweetness. We are enjoying the sweetness of his story, and we should also be like the ants, because that is what Swami said. All of you should be like ants. May we be like ants and spread the sweetness that we have experienced to everyone who can benefit from it. Dear Swami, may the love that we have for you in our hearts keep growing stronger every passing moment. Thank you. Jai Sai Ram.